Hello there, we are live now, I think. So hello to all watching the channel. आज हम बात करेंगे किसी चैनल के बारे में नहीं, पर एक किताब के बारे में। ये किताब बहुत ही अच्छी है। मुझे व्यक्तिगत रूप से बहुत पसंद आई। आई लाइक द बुक वेरी मच पर्सनली एंड आई वुड रिकमेंड टू ऑल द रीडर्स ऑफ लिटरेचर और अदरवाइज who take great pleasure in reading English that they should also read this book. And the most interesting part is there is a movie named after this book of the same name, and the movie was released in the year 1993. And the book's name is The Remains of the Day, written by Mr. Kazuo Ishiguro. Mr. Kazuo Ishiguro is a Japanese who is now a British citizen and was born in Japan, and he is a Nobel award-winning writer. So the credentials of the author establishes the fact that this book might be or must be an awesome book, and so it is. And let me tell you that it is a first person account, means everything is written from that point of narration of a person, like how the person saw the event, or a person is describing, like I for example I say I went there, I had this incident, I talked to a particular person and something of the sorts. So the whole story in the novel is being actually dictated by the butler, Mr. Stevens, and his days when he used to work for Mr. Darlington, his employer. And Mr. Darlington is, I think, a British aristocrat. And there are some incidents in his life which he discussed in his book, and about also the qualities of a great butler. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to the book, The Remains of the Day. This is a very nice book, not very thick, as you can see. So you can complete it like in a month if you read it regularly, or even less time, because it is also very interesting. The chapters and the total story flows in such a way that they glide into each other, and you will never know when another thing starts. It is like after having a big break in between, you will realize that yeah, now a second chapter or part of the book has started. I think it is written in 3 or 4 parts. Day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, something like that. So let me go through it once. Yeah, yeah, it is like Darlington Hall, prologue, July 1956. So in 1956, Mr. Stevens is looking up to his back, upon the time in the back, in the past, and he's pondering upon things and his relationship with his former employee, Miss Kenton, who is now married as and lives as Mrs. Ben. They're and they're going to meet after like 20 years. And his new employer, Mr. Stevens' new employer, has said that he can take the car and go for a vacation. So he plans to go into the countryside, and he describes the countryside in the story as well. And he meets Ben or Miss Kenton, and there they give a hint that they used to like each other during their employment when they were together working at the Darlington Hall. There are other incidents in the book which you will definitely like or understand, and the class of English is very fine, and it is about a class of or a generation of butlers who are there no more. Like the aristocracy is gone. The modern times has almost decimated the monarchy and aristocracy in England. So you won't find those class of butlers. So the book is like 250 or 260 pages, so not much, you can manage it, right? The English is very good, it is fine, and the words have been very aptly chosen. And let me s- let me give you a summary, or the summary I've put in the description, you can read from there, or let me read the summary for you so that you will get a better uh, look at the book. So, the novel tells in first person narration, as I've told, the story of Stevens, an English butler who has dedicated his life to the loyal service of Lord Darlington, who is recently deceased. Means Lord Darlington is recently deceased, and whom Stevens describes in increasing detail in flashbacks. So Mr. Stevens goes in flashback during the time and describes about his time at Darlington Hall. As the work progresses, the two central themes are revealed. The first one, Lord Darlington was a Nazi sympathizer, and Stevens is in love with Miss Kenton, the housekeeper at Darlington Hall, Lord Darlington's estate. Now, as I've already told you, the novel begins in 1956 with Stevens receiving a letter from a former colleague, the housekeeper Miss Kenton, describing her married life, which Stevens believes hints at an unhappy marriage. Furthermore, Darlington Hall is short staffed and could greatly use a skilled housekeeper like Miss Kenton. Stevens started to consider paying Miss Kenton a visit. His new employer, a wealthy American named Mr. Faraday, encourages Stevens to borrow his car, to take a well-earned vacation, a motoring trip, and sets out for Cornwall, where Miss Kenton lives. So the story goes on, and he has some incidents, and his car also gets, I think, in a problem somewhere. So he stays somewhere for the night. So in these 4 or 5 days, he describes his journey, and that is the book. It is all about. So at the back of the book, as you can see, there are some praises, and I should read some of them. Those so the Sunday Times says a triumph. This wholly convincing portrait of human life unweaving before your eyes is inventive and absorbing, but by turns funny, absurd, and ultimately very moving. Okay, and New York Times book review says a dream of a book, a beguiling comedy of manners that evolves almost magically into a profound and heart-rendering study of personality, class, and culture. And truly so, I love this book, and I will recommend you to all. Your time and your money would be well worth it, well spent on this book. Please do buy and read the book. And later on, if you like this, you can watch the movie, or I would rather suggest you watch the movie first and then go for the book, because that is the way I had done. So let me share the movie's preview or trailer before you. So as you can see, let me play it for you.
Of staff happen to fall in love and decide to get married, there is nothing one can say. But what I do find a major irritation are those persons who are simply going from post to post looking for romance.
Now Howard's End is also a very good movie, and it stars Miss Thompson. So you can watch that movie also. But anyhow, let's move on. As you can see, it is the set is of 1930s, right? Those times before Second World War, and the movie also involves the characters and the events in Europe happening at the time before Second World War. And as I told you already, that Mr. Darlington was accused of being a Nazi sympathizer.
For the past 30 years, this has been the world of Stevens the
Okay, the narrator's voice is in American accent, but we can ignore that for now.
butler.
A man cannot call himself well contented until he has done all he can to be of service to his employer.
Within the protective walls of Darlington Hall,
What happens within this house during the conference could have repercussions on the whole course that Europe is taking.
I understand fully.
he has led a life of perfect order and total control.
You don't like to have pretty girls on the staff, I've noticed.
Might it be that our Mr. Stevens fears distraction?
Good-looking woman.
A first-rate housekeeper is essential in a house like this where great affairs are decided.
But as the world out
So as you can see, the butler has been played by Mr. Anthony Hopkins, and he is Mr. Stevens, and the housekeeper is like played by Emma Thompson.
side was changing,
The United States does not want war any more than you do.
On the other hand,
Mr. Christopher Reeves, who used to play Superman.
neither would we care for peace at any price.
so was the world inside Darlington Hall.
You do realize that over the last few years, his lordship has been the most important pawn that the Nazis have in this country.
It is not my place to be curious
And there was young Hugh Grant.
about such matters.
We have some refugee girls on the staff. You'll have to let them go. They're Jews.
How long can he shut his eyes to what he sees around him?
If those girls go, I shall leave this house.
Miss Thompson.
Without her,
How long can he close his heart?
Mr. Stevens, I accepted Mr. Benn's proposal of marriage.
you have my warmest congratulations.
To what he
See, he is in character. He doesn't wants to get away or I mean to say, he doesn't wants to break the character of a butler and even display his feelings for Miss Kenton. And of course, Anthony Hopkins has been very phenomenal. He feels like a butler. Now that I have never seen or met one butler, but anyways, on seeing Mr. Anthony, it feels like if there would have been a ideal butler, he would have been like him only.
feels inside. Columbia Pictures is proud to present a James Ivory film.
It's not scandalous at all. It's just a sentimental old love story.
They were so professional in their life that they, although were drawn closer, but didn't try to cross the line of professionalism. And 20 years later, when Miss Kenton meets Mr. Stevens, they talk about things. Know the whole story and read the novel. That way you will understand what I'm talking about. Why is this a masterpiece and should be recognized as such?
Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Academy Award winner Emma Thompson. James Fox. Christopher Reeve. The remains of the day.
So that was it. So that was all about the book, The Remains of the Day. To like the video, share the information about this book, and watch the movie, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.